Hello, I'm Jonathan from Boom Instructor Training, and I'm here to help you become a DVSA approved driving instructor. On this video, I'll be discussing the earn while you learn trap, and hopefully you can avoid this all too common PDI mistake. Do remember that the Part 3 test pass rate is a dismal 35%, and this is unacceptable. So I'm here to change this. I'm here to increase the Part 3 test pass rate. I'll soon be explaining one of the main reasons why so many PDIs never pass the Part 3 test. A lot of driving schools will tell you that you should apply for a PDI license, and they will sell you the idea of earn while you learn. They encourage you to do this because they want to lock you into a contract, they want you paying them a weekly franchise fee, and often they will want to lease you a car. Therefore, it's in the best interest of the driving school to encourage you to apply for a PDI license. However, it isn't necessarily in your best interest. So this is the starting point where it goes wrong for so many PDIs. Let's explore the idea of earn while you learn. Firstly, you should have already done the learning before you apply for a PDI license. You should have already had 40 hours training, learning how to teach pupils and learning all about the 17 competences. So the learning has already happened. What is the purpose of a PDI license? It is so you can gain experience teaching pupils before you take the Part 3 test. And by the way, you do not need a PDI license to achieve this. You can gain experience teaching pupils independently, using your own car, giving free lessons, and you can then avoid the expense and commitment of using a PDI license. However, I'm now talking about PDIs who do apply for a PDI license. The experience you gain teaching pupils leading up to your Part 3 test should be focused on one simple outcome, and that outcome is for you to pass the Part 3 test. So when you practice teaching pupils, you should be focused on this outcome. And this is where it goes wrong for so many PDIs who use a PDI license. Because the PDI becomes focused on earning and they lose focus on preparing for the Part 3 test. Hence the earn while you learn trap. Also, most PDIs are left to their own devices as soon as they start practicing teaching pupils. And then what happens, and I've seen this time and time again, the PDI takes on too many pupils, they quickly feel overwhelmed, and they don't have time to properly prepare and plan for each lesson in advance, and they don't have time to self-reflect after each lesson. And then all of the training the PDI has previously had learning how to teach pupils, well, this goes out of the window and the PDI starts teaching pupils in their own way, and they lose focus on the 17 competences and they lose focus on preparing for the Part 3 test. The PDI ends up getting a lot of practice teaching pupils in their own way, so they are basically getting a lot of experience teaching pupils incorrectly. And this is one of the main reasons why the Part 3 pass rate is only 35%. This is the earn while you learn trap. So what is the solution? My advice to you in terms of practicing teaching pupils would be only do between 2 and 4 lessons each week practicing teaching pupils leading up to your Part 3 test. It isn't the amount of practice you get that is important, it's the quality of practice that counts. Quality over quantity. So for example, 2 or 3 practice lessons each week over a 10-week period, and then take the Part 3 test. Each lesson should be well planned in advance, and this might mean you having a drive out to explore the practice areas and get familiar with the roads that you will be using during the driving lessons, and all this is quite time consuming. At the end of each lesson, set aside 30 minutes for self-reflection. Ask yourself what went well, what didn't go well, what could I do differently next time? Ask yourself, did I use all of the 4 lesson planning competences? Did I use all of the 5 risk management competences? Did I use all of the 8 teaching and learning strategies competences? So reflect on each individual competence. When you practice teaching pupils, it must be competence focused. Wherever possible, practice teaching pupils in 45-minute segments. Your Part 3 test is 45 minutes, so you need to practice teaching pupils in 45-minute segments using the same lesson structure that you will use during your Part 3 test. If all you are doing is practicing teaching pupils giving 1-hour lessons, 1.5-hour lessons, or 2-hour lessons, then this just won't feel the same as on the day of your Part 3 test. Wherever possible, practice teaching pupils in the same area as the driving test centre where you will be taking your Part 3 test. Doing this means you are getting familiar and comfortable with the roads in this area, which will be a really big help when you do take your Part 3 test. None of this is possible if you are busy trying to earn a living using a PDI licence. You need to focus on passing the Part 3 test. And by following my advice, you will have a much better chance of passing. I would also advise you to consider not applying for a PDI licence. It isn't necessary. You can practice teaching pupils independently in your own car, giving free lessons. You do not need to apply for a PDI licence. And if you buy my Part 3 video tutorials, then I can mentor you whilst you're practicing teaching pupils with a weekly or fortnightly 45-minute phone or video call. It is important to be mentored whilst you're practicing teaching pupils, because without this, you could easily go off at a tangent and start doing things wrong. A good mentor will keep you focused on the 17 competences and will help you properly prepare for the Part 3 test. I do hope that you found the information on this video helpful. Please like and subscribe if you have. I'd really appreciate this. And do remember, when you're teaching pupils, keep it simple and enjoy it.